So 8:14 right now, and earlier this morning we spoke with Dr. Mike about a troubling new report showing more people are getting diagnosed with colon cancer at a younger age. And Woodinville mother Anita Mitchell is part of that growing number, 41 years old. That's how old she was when doctors diagnosed her with stage 4 colon cancer. She went through multiple surgeries and chemotherapy every other week for nearly a year. Now, 18 years cancer-free, and her likelihood of overcoming 5 years of remission was only 5% at the time. So Anita Mitchell here with us this morning, talking more about her harrowing but triumphant journey here. It is great to have you with us here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So take us back 18 years ago when you got that diagnosis, stage 4 colon cancer at age 41.
I was devastated. My kids were 9, 11, and 12, and I just wanted to, I needed to beat it. I needed to raise my kids. To find out that my family history, that I didn't know correctly, and that I should have been screened earlier and I could have prevented it, made me want to go out and spread the word, because in my case, mine was very preventable with on-time screening.
Did you have symptoms?
I had symptoms, but my doctor dismissed them because of my age,
right,
which happens a lot to younger people. But I also didn't know my family history correctly.
Okay, so what was the family history? What were the markers that you saw in terms of not only that, but also the symptoms you were experiencing?
So I had some blood in my stool, and the doctor waved it off as hemorrhoids, but I also had change in bowel habits. My dad had died of cancer when I was 16, but my parents were divorced, and so I wasn't part of his daily care, and I thought he had bone cancer because I remember him limping. Well, it was colon cancer that had spread to the bone, so I should have been screened in my 30s. So if I would have known that, I could have prevented it by getting on-time screening.
And so the cure rates, as we mentioned, 5% for stage 4 at that time?
Yeah, 5 to 8%. And so, I mean, they told me that they could, if I didn't do anything, I had 6 months. And if I did treatment, I possibly, if the chemo worked, I could have a liver resection, an RFA, which they radiofrequency ablation, part of the tumors. My tumors were in every part of my liver, so they couldn't cut it out, but RFA was considered palliative. But for me, I'm very lucky, and it worked for me, and they'll say I'm cured now.
And so advocacy is obviously a big part of your life now. What is the message you need to get across to people now, especially in light of the new indication that younger people are getting diagnosed with colon cancer?
So if you're 45, just get screened, because it's a silent cancer. If you're younger and you're having symptoms, you need to push your doctor. Don't let them blow it off that it's stress. If you have anemia, fatigue, blood in your stool, change of bowel habits, any of those things, and ask about your family history. There's different, but that's only part of it. So really it is on-time screening. And if you're having symptoms, you need to push sometimes, because the people 50 and under are usually misdiagnosed for up to 90% of, 9 months it takes them to get diagnosed versus someone older. So, and now we have this big age group of 45 and up.
Yeah, and doctors are now saying 45 should be the age that you should be initially screened, no matter what your family history is. Part of your advocacy is a nonprofit now. Can you talk about the work that you're doing?
So I started Colon Cancer Stars through our state task force, and so we have peer-to-peer support groups, and we go to patients' appointments. We do health fairs. We have a big giant inflatable colon. I have a Polly Polyp costume. I take it, and I even go into schools, because I figure we can talk to kids. There's nothing scary about it, and they can bring the message home to their parents.
Yeah.
Sometimes parents will do things that maybe they would put off. But if your kids are saying, Mom, Dad, have you been screened? And just take the mystery behind it out. So we kind of do a lot of out-of-the-box things, because early onset is a big problem. And by the year 2030, they expect it to be the #1 cancer killer for people ages 50 and under. And that's really like 1 in 5 people are under 55.
And so we need to do what we can. Get screened early and advocate for your own care.
Yeah.
Anita Mitchell, I'm so glad you're here. You also had a life event that happened very recently that you were here for.
Yes. I just became a grandmother on March 16th, which was super exciting. And it was also the day that 32 years before that, I became a mother. So talk about a very...
Same day?
Yeah, so my granddaughter was born on my older daughter's birthday.
That is so fantastic.
So, yeah, so I'm very blessed.
Yes, you are. We're blessed to have you here. Anita Mitchell, thanks so much for your time.